Most people spend their entire lives chasing after money. They run after it like it is a partner who keeps leaving, and the harder they chase, the faster it gets away. They see it as the only source of their happiness, safety, and influence. But have you noticed that people who easily attract wealth, who live in a smooth flow, are not the ones who desperately pursue it? No, they are the ones who seem to enjoy life's dance instead of fighting it. So let's start by asking a very deep question. What exactly is money? For most of us, money is just energy that we can see. It is a solid form of our ability to give value, to help, to create things. But when we attach fear to it, fear of being broke, fear of losing it, fear of being without it, it starts acting like a scared animal. You cannot catch it by chasing. You can only invite it by creating a feeling of trust, openness, and easy flow. Now, if you watch your mind closely, you will notice that the very thought of money often causes tightness in your body. It brings up a quiet worry, a lack of peace. This worry is the energy that pushes away what you want, because at that moment, you are telling the universe, I do not have enough. You are defining yourself as someone who is missing something, and as a result, that is the reality you keep experiencing. If this message connected with you, show your support by liking the video, subscribing for more, and sharing it with others, and type abundance in the comments below to confirm your faith in this flow. But when you understand that money, like the wind, moves toward those who don't desperately grab at it, when you start to feel like you are already rich, you match the rhythm of the universe itself. Let me tell you something very simple but very important. Money is not earned, it is allowed. Yes, you take action, you do work, you put in effort. But all of that comes second. The main condition is your inner state of mind. You can work until you are exhausted. You can push, struggle, and plan everything out. But if your mind is stuck in fear, in lack, in doubt, you are pushing against life's current. You are trying to swim upstream against the flow. But when you stop that stressful effort, when you let go and trust the natural flow of plenty that already exists, everything changes. Because truly, abundance is the natural state of this universe. Look around you. Nature never saves up. Trees don't struggle to grow their leaves. The ocean doesn't count its waves. The sun doesn't limit its light. And yet, we, the most aware beings, have somehow forgotten that life itself is full of plenty. We believe we must earn what existence already gives freely. So, let me ask you, what if the key to quickly attracting money was not about doing more but being more? What if it is about moving into a new level of awareness, one that matches the feeling of abundance itself? You see, money follows the same rules that control everything else in the universe: feeling and awareness. If this message resonated with you, please demonstrate your agreement by liking this video, subscribing to our channel for continued alignment, and sharing it with your network. Additionally, confirm your commitment to this principle by commenting the single word, abundance. The energy you carry in your thoughts, feelings, and body is constantly sending signals out into the world. If your signal is, I don't have enough, then life sends that feeling right back to you. But when your signal becomes, I am complete, I am already rich, I am thankful, the universe has no choice but to reflect that state back to you as things, as chances, as unexpected flow. This is why people who truly understand money never worry about it. They might lose it, they might gain it, but their inner calm stays the same. They know that money is a visitor, not the boss, and like any visitor, it comes to those who make space for it, not those who desperately hold on. So many people live with a constant feeling of worry, checking their bank accounts every day, counting every coin, stressing over bills. But here is the truth: when you focus on what you lack, you create more of that lack. Energy follows where attention goes. The more attention you give to not having enough, the more that scarcity grows in your reality. But if even for a few moments a day you can feel wealth, not think about it, not wish for it, but actually feel it in your heart, you start to change your energetic frequency, and when your frequency changes, the outside world changes itself to match it. You might ask, but how can I feel rich when I am surrounded by debt? That is exactly the puzzle. You must feel it before you see it, not after. Because feeling is the power that creates. It is not a reaction, it is the cause. When you truly grasp this, when you live as though your wealth already exists in the unseen world, the visible world will follow naturally. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up every morning to check if it is growing. You trust that it is. You give it water, you nurture it, and you allow it to grow in its own time. In the same way, money grows where trust is planted. Now, most people's relationship with money is built on fear and guilt. We've been taught since childhood to believe that money is limited, that it is difficult to get, and that it makes people bad. We have inherited hundreds of years of shared worry about it, but all of that is an illusion. Money itself has no moral quality. It is a mirror. It simply makes bigger what is already inside you. If you are generous, money increases your generosity. If you are worried, it increases your fear. That is why many people who win the lottery lose it quickly. They attract the money but never change their inner state. They remain energetically poor to attract wealth quickly. You must stop thinking about money and begin thinking as wealth itself. Imagine for a moment that you already had more than enough. That every one of your needs was met easily. Feel how your body relaxes. Your breathing slows down. The tightness in your chest loosens. That right there is the frequency of abundance. And in that frequency, ideas flow easily. Good things happen at the perfect time. People show up when needed. That is how money comes quickly. By becoming a match to it. It is not magic. It is just tuning in. The problem is that we have been taught to separate our inner and outer worlds, as if they were two different realities. But the truth is, they are one smooth process. The outside is just the echo of the inside. So when you change the way you feel about money, the outer conditions must follow. This is why wise people always said, focus first on the kingdom within. Because when your inner world is rich, peaceful, confident, and grateful, your outer world will reflect that back to you in ways that look like wealth, opportunity, and success. Now, I am not telling you to simply sit around imagining piles of cash and doing nothing. That is not the point. The point is to act from inspiration, not desperation. When your inner state is correct, your actions become easy and precise. You begin to move in harmony with the vast intelligence of the universe, which is much more capable than your thinking mind. When you act from fear, your actions are messy, forced, and tiring. But when you act from trust, your actions are perfectly aligned. You start to meet the right people, discover the right ideas, and follow the right urges without needing to plan everything. This is what I mean by money coming quickly. Not because you found some secret code, but because you stopped fighting the natural flow that was trying to reach you all along. Money, like love, flows to those who are open to it. You cannot beg for it. You cannot demand it. You cannot chase it. You can only become available to it. And how do you become available? By releasing the emotional weight that keeps you stuck in scarcity. By forgiving yourself for the years of struggle. By letting go of the guilt you feel about wanting more. And by realizing that having plenty is not selfish, it is sacred. Because the more you have, the more you can share. The more you can lift up others. The more you can create good things. You see, the universe enjoys things moving around. It is a dance of giving and receiving. When you hold on tight, the dance stops. When you give and allow, the music flows. So if you want money to come quickly, start by moving around what you already have. Be it thankfulness, kindness, your time, or even a small part of your income. Because when you act as if you already have enough to give, you signal to life, I am abundant. And life responds to that. I've often said the goal of life is just to be alive. In the same way, the purpose of abundance is simply to express itself. When you stop worrying, stop trying to control, stop trying to force it, money flows as naturally as your next breath. Let me share a story with you. There was once a man who lived with constant stress. He worked very hard, saved every coin, and worried about losing everything. One day, worn out by his anxiety, he met a teacher who told him, "You are trying to control the river, my friend. But the river does not need your control. It needs your trust." The man did not understand right away, but slowly, he started to relax his grip. He stopped working out of fear and began working from a place of joy. He started spending money with gratitude instead of guilt. And soon, life began to change. Opportunities appeared. People showed up. Money started flowing in ways he could never have planned. He had not changed the world. He had changed his inner state, and that is what I want you to see. Money is not something you chase. It is a reflection of the state of being you live in. If you are stressed, worried, or desperate, it will always feel far away. But if you are relaxed, trusting, and in harmony with life's rhythm, it comes quickly, easily, and joyfully. So let this be your experiment. For the next few days, stop thinking about getting money and start thinking about being wealth. Act from a place of plenty, not from fear. Give with thanks, not with hesitation. Speak as if your prosperity is already here. Because truly it is. The universe has already agreed. It is only waiting for you to believe it. And when you do, money will no longer be something you chase. It will become something that chases you. Now that we've started to see money not as a problem to solve, but as a companion to understand, let's look deeper. You see, the real question is never really about money. It is about how you relate to life itself. Money simply shows how you interact with existence. Do you trust it? Do you allow it? Or do you resist it because of fear, guilt, or feeling unworthy? Every moment of your life is an exchange with the universe. You breathe in. You breathe out. You receive. You give. You cannot separate one from the other. So why do we believe that abundance could be any different? If you truly listen, you will notice that the very energy that gives life to your body, that makes your heart beat and the trees grow, is the same energy that brings chances, customers, ideas, and yes, even money. It is all one single movement, the movement of life giving itself to itself. But the human mind has learned to stop this flow with thoughts. We say, I don't have enough, I must hold on, what if it runs out? And in that moment of closing up, we disconnect ourselves from the current. Imagine the universe as an endless river of energy. Money is simply one of the many forms that river takes as it flows through your experience. You don't create the river. You only open or close the channels through which it can pass. And what opens those channels? Gratitude, not the polite kind of thank you we say at the dinner table. I mean a deep-down gratitude, the kind that pulses through your whole being, that says thank you, not with words but with your entire self. When you live with gratitude, your energy expands, your body softens, your heart opens. You become like rich soil ready to receive, and in that openness, the river flows. But when you live complaining, focusing on lack, and in fear, your energy shrinks. You become stiff. You fight the flow, and the river, respecting your resistance, flows somewhere else. That is why I often say the universe doesn't punish. It mirrors. If you live in abundance, it reflects abundance. If you live in lack, it reflects lack. So the secret is not to get more money, but to feel more alive, to match yourself with the aliveness of existence, to trust that the same intelligence that created galaxies knows how to take care of you too. Now many people will say, that sounds too easy. Surely we must do something to make it happen. And I would say, yes, you must be something before you do something. Action without inner harmony is chaos. But when you first align your inner world, when you act from quietness, clarity, and trust, then every action becomes powerful. You could make one small move, and it creates ripples across the universe. This is what I mean when I say that money comes quickly after knowing this. Because the moment you stop acting from desperation, the universe stops giving you desperate situations. When your energy shifts, time itself seems to bend around you. You start to find yourself in the right places, hearing the right words, meeting the right people. Things that once took months happen in days. Not because life suddenly changed, but because you did. You entered a new frequency. Let me give you a clear image. Imagine two radio stations. One broadcasts fear, lack, and struggle. The other broadcasts joy, abundance, and flow. You cannot tune into the second station by complaining that the first one has bad music. You must change the dial. That dial is your inner state, your vibration, and the moment you tune to gratitude, presence, and trust, you connect to a completely different reality. The beauty of this is that it requires no force. You don't have to convince the universe of your worth. You only have to stop doubting it. Let's talk about trust, because it is the very basis of abundance. Trust is the skill of letting go of control. It is knowing that even if you can't see how things will work out, something deeper than you is already taking care of it. It is like breathing. You don't have to control each breath. You simply allow it. But we've been conditioned to believe that if we don't control everything, it will all fall apart. That is a false belief born from fear. When you look at nature, you'll see that nothing is controlling anything, and yet everything works perfectly. The seasons come and go, the planets orbit, the flowers bloom, all without worry. So, what if your money flow could be the same? What if you didn't have to force money, but simply match its rhythm, just as the ocean matches the moon? You see, when you truly trust life, you stop grasping for specific results. You stop trying to make things happen on your own timeline. And ironically, that is when things start to happen faster, because there is no longer any resistance. It is like opening a tight fist. Suddenly blood flows again, energy moves again, money too begins to move. Now, one of the biggest illusions of modern life is that success equals effort, that the harder you push, the more you will achieve. But if that were true, the most exhausted people would be the wealthiest. And that is clearly not the case. Real wealth comes not from struggle, but from alignment. When your inner state and your outer actions are in harmony, things happen with amazing speed and ease. You may write one email that completely changes your business. You may have one conversation that opens a new door. You may follow one inner feeling that leads to a flow of abundance you never imagined. That is not luck. That is resonance. You are finally vibrating at the frequency where opportunities exist. Now, here is something subtle but very important. Stop treating money like a god. When you idolize it, you push it away, because in worshipping it, you create a separation. You place it above you. But when you respect it as a friend, a flow, a mirror of your energy, it becomes accessible. It becomes enjoyable. Think of how children play with sand on the beach. They build castles knowing the water will eventually wash them away. And yet they build with joy. They understand change. They don't hold on tight. If you can treat money the same way, build with joy, release with ease, trust the flow, you will never fear it again, because you will know with absolute certainty that the flow always returns. This is the great secret. You cannot lose what you have become. When you become abundance itself, when your very state of being radiates wealth, gratitude, and love, no outside event can take that from you. That is when money truly comes quickly, because you no longer need it to define you. You have already claimed your identity as the source, not the one searching. Let's look even deeper still. Behind every wish for money lies a deeper wish for freedom, for peace, for safety, for joy. But here is the universal joke. Those feelings are available right now. The money is only the symbol, not the source. When you realize this, you can go straight to the source. You can feel freedom now. You can feel joy now. And because the universe mirrors your state, the external wealth will follow, not as the cause of your joy, but as its reflection. This is why those who are truly free never chase, they attract. They understand that everything in this universe is awareness, interacting with awareness. There is no separation between you and money. It is made of the same energy as you are. So the moment you stop seeing yourself as the one without, and instead as the consciousness through which abundance expresses itself, everything you once chased begins to chase you. But don't just take my word for it. Try it for the next week. Wake up each morning and say to yourself, I already live in abundance. Not as a hopeful thought, but as a statement of fact. Then act as if it were true, not carelessly, but confidently. Pay your bills with thanks. Perform small acts of kindness. Appreciate every form of wealth around you. Sunlight, laughter, breath. Watch how the feeling around you begins to change, because money doesn't come through force, it comes through awareness. When you are aware, you stop acting from fear, you stop chasing shadows. You begin to realize that the source of all plenty is not outside of you, but inside. And once you see that, money becomes a game. You play with it, you enjoy it, you share it, you no longer hold on to it, because you've realized you are it. You are the energy that creates worlds, flowing through a human form. You are life expressing itself as plenty. You are not separate from the wealth you desire. You are its pathway. And when that truth sinks deep into your core, when it stops being an idea and becomes a lived reality, then money flows. So quickly that you will laugh. You'll laugh because you'll realize it was never about the paper or the numbers or the bank account. It was always about you, about remembering your own creative power, your own connection to the infinite. So my dear listener, stop asking, how do I get money? And begin asking, how do I align with the natural rhythm of abundance that already exists? Stop looking to the outside world to confirm your worth. The confirmation must come from within, and when it does, when you finally rest in that inner knowing, the outer world rushes to meet you, because that is how the game works. You don't force money to appear. You remember it into being. You wake up to what has always been true, that life in its essence is generous. It gives without holding back, without hesitation. And you, being life itself, are meant to do the same. So go on. Open your hands, open your heart, and let it flow. Give, receive, circulate. Let money move through you like breath. Because the moment you stop clinging, the moment you stop doubting, the moment you remember who you truly are, money comes so quickly, so easily, so naturally. And then you will smile because you'll know it was never about the money at all. It was about waking up to abundance itself. The deepest truth about attracting great wealth is that it has almost nothing to do with what you do, and everything to do with who you are being. You see, money is fundamentally a symbol of energy. Think of it as water. Water will always flow to the lowest point, finding the path of least resistance. Likewise, financial abundance seeks the path of least resistance in your consciousness. When you are tense, worried, and struggling, you create resistance. You become a dam. But when you are peaceful, grateful, and trusting, you become a clear channel, and the flow of prosperity rushes in. This journey to attracting rapid wealth is not a path of working harder. It is a path of unlearning fear. We have been socially conditioned to believe that money is difficult, that we must fight for every dollar, and that there is not enough to go around. Every single one of these beliefs is a lie, and every lie acts like a magnet repelling the very wealth you desire. When you hold the thought, "I might run out," the universe responds, "You are right. Here is a situation that proves you might run out." The reality you experience is always a perfect mirror of your dominant inner feeling. Therefore, the first step is to treat your inner state, your consciousness, as the most important investment you can ever make. How do you change this core consciousness? It begins with gratitude. Gratitude is the master key because it immediately shifts your energy from one of lack, "I need this," to one of abundance, "I already have so much." When you wake up and the first thing you feel is thankfulness for the air in your lungs, the roof over your head, and the water you drink, you are sending a powerful signal to the universe. I am a place where abundance lives. This is not a trick. This is aligning your internal vibration with the true vibration of the universe, which is infinite and always giving. Most people approach money from a position of begging. They plead for a raise, they worry over bills, they desperately hunt for the next opportunity. But what if you started acting from the position of a creator? A creator does not beg for resources. A creator commands them by the power of their vision and their certainty. Imagine for a moment that you are the wealthiest person you know. Not in terms of numbers, but in terms of inner peace, clarity, and generosity. Feel the calm way you would approach a problem. Notice the unhurried nature of your decisions. That feeling, that internal stability, is the true currency of abundance. When you can maintain that internal state regardless of the current number in your bank account, the outer number must change to match your inner certainty. The world outside is always working to reflect your deepest assumptions about life. If you assume life is a struggle, it will provide endless struggles. If you assume money is hard to keep, it will provide reasons for you to lose it. But if you begin to assume, deeply and without question, that life is supportive, that the universe is rigged in your favor, and that money flows easily and rapidly to you, then the outer world will rearrange itself to prove that new assumption true. This is the simple, elegant, and often missed truth. You are not receiving what you want, you are receiving what you are. Let's discuss the concept of alloying money. You work hard, yes, but the work is merely the form through which the energy of money expresses itself. The real magic happens when you stop forcing the results and start allowing them. This means doing the work from a place of joy and inspiration, rather than desperation and fear. When you are inspired, you are channeling a higher intelligence. Your actions are precise, magnetic, and effortlessly fruitful. When you are desperate, your actions are clumsy, resistant, and generate more struggle. To invite rapid financial flow, you must cultivate radical trust. Trust is the bridge between the visible world of your current finances and the invisible world of your potential wealth. This trust means knowing, without seeing the how, that your needs will be met and your desires will be fulfilled. When a farmer plants a seed, they don't dig it up daily to check its progress. They trust the law of the harvest. They know that if they have done their part, planting, watering, nourishing, the invisible forces of nature will do the rest. Your conscious thought is the seed. Your unwavering trust is the water and sunlight. Stop digging up the seed with fear and doubt. Trust the law of cause and effect. Another profound key is to understand that money is a tool for circulation, not stagnation. The universe operates on a principle of flow. Water that stays still becomes stale. Money that is hoarded out of fear becomes stagnant and difficult to attract more of. When you give, whether it is a generous tip, a donation, or a genuine compliment, you are acting from abundance. You are declaring to the universe, I have so much that I can afford to share. This act of giving is the most powerful signal you can send to attract massive returns, because you are confirming your abundant identity. You are becoming a fountain, not a drain. The universe always pours more into the fountain, so that it can continue to flow out. The idea of feeling wealthy now while facing debt is the ultimate challenge and the highest act of creation. It requires a temporary suspension of what your eyes are telling you in favor of what your spirit knows to be true. When you pay a bill, do it with a sincere feeling of gratitude, thinking, thank you for the privilege of being able to send this energy out, knowing it will come back to me multiplied. This simple mental shift breaks the chain of scarcity associated with paying bills. You are changing the meaning of the action from a painful loss to a powerful act of circulation. You must also address the deep-seated, hidden unworthiness that often blocks abundance. Many of us carry old silent agreements that we are not smart enough, not worthy enough, or that being rich is morally wrong. These are shadows from the past. Money is simply an amplifier. It amplifies your goodness and your ability to do good things in the world. Recognizing that your abundance is a sacred responsibility, that the more you have, the more good you can create, removes the moral block. Your worthiness is not granted by money. It is inherent in your existence. You were born worthy of all the good life has to offer. To truly experience money coming quickly, you must learn the art of receiving. Many people are good at giving, but terrible at receiving a compliment, a favor, or an unexpected gift. This resistance to receiving is a resistance to abundance itself. Start practicing receiving joyfully. When someone offers you something, accept it with an open heart and a sincere thank you. Every time you do this, you train your system to be open to the larger gifts the universe is trying to send your way, including massive financial opportunities. Finally, remember that you are the source, the job, the market, the investment. These are just channels. The real infinite source of all energy, money, and life is within you, in your connection to the intelligence that governs the universe. Stop idolizing the external channels. When you are anchored in the inner source, you stop worrying when one channel closes, because you know 1,000 more channels can open instantly. This is the moment where money stops being something you chase in fear and becomes something that magnetically flows to you with ease, speed, and joy. You stop seeking the treasure, and you realize you are the treasure. When you act from that knowing, the universe has no choice but to provide every resource you need to fulfill the grand vision you hold for your life. Your speed of attraction is directly proportional to your speed of surrender to the truth of your inherent abundance.